all pops is a step above 2 megapops, because with the selected tower that you're going to get pops with, you cannot allow any other tower to get a single pop. And today we're going to be doing this with the Sentry Champion, and one of our supporting towers is going to be an Ultra Boost. So how are we going to be doing this? Well, this top part here of the logs is going to provide us with a means of being able to put towers behind it, and those towers will not be able to get a single pop. We do need to beamline to Sentry Expert so that we can start popping leads. And I know Geraldo is a very boring hero to see in all of his challenges, but honestly, we need his invisibility potion for one time only in order to see camos, because we need to deal with camos on round 24 and we need to deal with leads on round 28, and we cannot pursue both paths, especially the fact that, well, cleansing foam can pop leads, but that is popping balloons, which we cannot do in this case. We're going along quite well. We've got sprockets in place. We'll have Sentry Expert quite soon, but we do need to put a invisibility potion on on our engineer monkeys, so that we will be able to deal with the camo on that round, and also the camo around 33 as well, which is very handy. But definitely for round 24, we can't get a radar scanner, we cannot get a submerger support. Well, we can, but then we won't be able to afford Sentry Expert by round 28. And we need Sentry Expert for the little bomb towers that deploy, the boom sentries that come out, so that we can pop leads. I know it's annoying, we have Geraldo, but we need Geraldo. So apologies to all the Geraldo haters out there. We have only one more turn of the invisibility potion, and then we will need some means of permanent camo detection in the form of radar scanner. So that's what we're going to be going with first. And also here as well provides a nice means of not enabling sentries to spawn over there once we get the larger surface area. But we won't be getting that at this point in time, because we don't need it at this point in time. But deconstruction is very handy when it comes to bonus damage against fortified balloons and Moab class balloons. Crushing sentries, boom sentries, cult sentries, and energy sentries. I should say laser sentries, but those are the 4 different kind of sentries that spawn out of the Sentry Expert. Different damage types based on your needs, which is very handy, but sometimes they don't work well with each other, especially when the cold sentry comes out, and then stuff like your... Wait a minute. I don't know, actually. Your engineer monkey by default can't pop cold, like, affected ones, so that's a given. So yeah, it's only very minimal harm towards the engineer monkey itself, but hey, the other 3 types can work well with the primary, well, engineer monkey. When I say primary, I just mean the tower itself. The engineer is not a primary tower, for goodness sakes. We have the MIB up and running now, and also jungle drums as well, so that we can produce sentries faster and be able to pop all kinds of balloons, regardless of what sentry the engineer decides to conjure. I swear, if you get a single pop at all, for some odd reason, if you get a single pop, I'm looking at you at some point, Ultra Boost Engineer Monkey. If you get a single pop at all, I will throw you into the stratosphere. Round 49, we could have Jerry's Fire on or Sharpening Stone, but we do not need such things at this given point of time. I kind of want to save as much money as I can, so that hopefully on round 100 we can get a Moab glue. Not necessary from my understanding, but I just like to have it because it doesn't do any damage, especially with the restrictions I've given it. Super glue does damage, and also corrosive glue does damage. So we removed all means of damage from the glue gunner. Glue gunners are one of the best supporting towers for a all pop scenario. if you can pair it right, it will not be able to do a single lick of damage. And we do need deconstruction because we are kind of struggling against these Moab class balloons here. They almost made it to the end there. Having more sentries is lovely thanks to having overclock. But our next gander now is Sentry Champion. Then after Sentry Champion, Ultra Boost time. Then after that, Call to Arms. And that will be that. And we'll place down our glue gunner if we desire to. If we ever feel like it is necessary to do so. Now, unfortunately, overclock only ever applies itself to the tower that it is conjured on. So if it's conjured onto the Sentry Expert, the overclock won't stack towards the sub towers themselves. But obviously, Call to Arms is a global ability, which means it not only increases the fire rate of the Sentry Expert at this given point in time, but it also increases the fire rate and pierce of the little sentries that spawn as well, which is lovely, because it's global and not isolated like Overclock / Ultra Boost is. Can we do round 63 without Jerry's fire? That is my next question, and it looks like a positive, which is excellent. Do not want anything else at this given point in time if we do not need it. Just me, my little sentries, Overclock, all that jazz. You better not go anything higher than 0. I know Geraldo won't, but for goodness sakes, because of your long range, I am suspecting you. Difficulty is a subjective thing. It is definitely something that is individualistic depending on the individual that is trying to go for a particular thing, regardless of its said difficulty that is projected by the original creator of that said thing. So let's say with Balloons Tower Defense 6, there are easy maps like Monkey Meadow, and then there are hard maps like Ravines. Now, some of us may think, well, Ravines isn't that too challenging, but then there are others, or we can buy Sentry Champion now, then there are others who are like, well, Ravine isn't that difficult. I mean, yes, it's harder than other maps, but it's not difficult in any sense of a word, because I'm at the stage of understanding the game, knowing the intricacies of the game to where I am able to do Ravine without even thinking about it, whereas others, like myself, we really have to sit there and ponder how to do this. And we also ponder ourselves, is such a thing possible? So when there's like elitism in the community where people say, if you cannot do a 2 Megapops on Ravines, then you are the lowest of the low. You are scum of the earth. And I'll like just say this right now. If you have that kind of mindset where you believe that you are a top player within a community, but that's not the worst part, but actually it's not even a bad part to say if you think you are a very good player and then you are able to show it by doing the said thing. But if you believe that other players do not deserve to have the satisfaction of being able to you know, present their own opinions and be able to say like, hey, this is a really hard thing, and you're like, well, if it's hard, then you are just obviously stupid, then that just really paints you in a very bad light. Like, that kind of mentality just really gatekeeps a community and really is an incredibly closed-minded thought process. And unfortunately, there are people out there that think that any kind of community has to be gated, it has to be closed off to everyone else. That is not the 0.001%. And unfortunately, there are people out there in the Balloons Tower Defense 6 community, or Balloons Tower Defense in general, that think like that, which is incredibly toxic for both current players and potential new players of the game. So that's why I think Balloons Tower Defense 6 offers something to anybody regardless of your understanding of the game. You could enjoy a very easy thing like just playing easy on Monkey Meadow, or you would be able to black border Ravines, and all the power to you regardless of what you have fun out of the game. But the most important part is the fun challenge, and you should not let anybody deter you, regardless of who they are, when it comes to anything about this game. You should not be deterred from trying a particular challenge. And if you want to try something that has not been done before, you should not be deterred by anybody that says, no, you cannot do it. But then they would also say to another person, yes, you can do it, because of some kind of self-satisfaction about them, which is incredibly gated, elitist, and is not welcome at all by the majority of people. It is those few closed-minded individuals that really suck the enjoyment out of any kind of community that don't deserve the platform in which they have, because of their morality, not because of their skill level. This might be quite unpopular to say, but the motive behind the act is far more of a detriment than the act itself, because what is the reason behind the act itself? What drove you into committing such a thing? And I'm not just talking about life in general, not just like saying that somebody is horrible on the internet or anything like that, but the motive behind doing something is the first step towards actually doing that said something. Because if you remove the motive, then the action does not happen, because there's no drive to doing it. And that could be out of like pleasure or anything like that, or it could just be desperation, like you do it because there is no choice in doing it. And both of those are caused by some kind of trigger, some kind of motive. And that motive could be desperation, or that motive could be out of self-satisfaction. But both of them do have a motive behind it. So therefore, you've got to really consider yourself, is something that someone, or what is an action that someone has done, but what is the motive behind it? Now, you could say that regardless of the motive, some things are unforgivable. But then you've got to also consider every single aspect about a situation. It cannot just be a one-sided conversation or a one-sided debate. Otherwise, you're never ever going to get yourself a full picture as to what's going on. And that can be incredibly difficult to do, especially like with the seriousness of the particular action in and of itself. Like some things you look at and thinking, there's just no way that the other person can defend themselves. And in some cases, it is very plausible to say there is absolutely nothing that one can do. But even with the most heinous things that have gone on in life, if the pure motive was behind desperation in order to survive, then that in and of itself is absolutely bad, but it is not driven by something that is inherently evil. And that is something that is really rare within society nowadays, because we all, myself and you included, have some precognitive dissolution towards certain factors in life where we, without failure, just have a conclusion for something before even a little bit of information is given out to try and get an understanding of what's going on. We look at a situation and think, nope, 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 don't want any part of it. This has happened, that has happened, case closed. Which leads to a lot of injustice in life in and of itself. Like, sometimes there is no justice done to those who are rightfully wronged by people who unfortunately fall into the category of only having a sense of self-desire and self-pleasure with other people's suffering, which is incredibly demoralizing. Like, there are people out there, like with the post office scandal that happened quite recently within the UK, thousands of people, or at the very least, a lot of people that works for the post office were laid off and sued because of computer technical errors that miscalculated the amount of revenues and stuff that went out. And because of that, the victims of that never ever got themselves a proper payback, proper feedback, and proper anything that is able to result in the fixing of said out. Oh my gosh. So yes, while I'm going on that tangent there, I think I've forgotten to put down some items here which may help us out, like these two here. So got ourselves a sharpening stone and Jerry's fire to help us out here. But there are so many things in life that are never resolved, never given a proper conclusion to those who are rightfully wrong. For those who never found conclusion or any kind of justification. Really? That was even worse? Okay, that's for ceramics pops. Now, what about the rest of these? Because I feel like we're going to run ourselves into a thing called a Pierce overload here. And that looks like what's happening right now. Ooh, come on, come on, come on, come on, please. Please. Excellent. And we have ourselves an... Oh. Okay, 100 more. We have ourselves an ultra boost here. I was thinking yes. Oh, wait. There's a 7, not a 6 there. So we have an ultra boost. We should be able to clear up the rest of these rounds now. Why am I going ultra boost rather than homeland defense? Because I can. That's why. Don't you question me down in the comment section below saying, oh, homeland defense is so much better. But you can do it with ultra boost. That's why I'm going ultra boost. Do not hate me for it, because you know I'm right, that this can be done. How dare you ever think of such a thing? How dare you? I sound like Uncle Ruckus now. How dare you go about your way? And how dare you pop all of those balloons over there that have done nothing to you whatsoever? And in fact, they should all escape and live happily ever after. Not being consumed by these towers that how dare you put down. So yeah, that's just the that's just what I'm going through right now. Not the show. I've heard of a show and heard of like the questionable things that he has said, but it's like I get the humor, but it's not for me. 97, 98. What do we have over here? We have ourselves round 98, the toughest round in all of the chumps possibly. It depends on what you're going after, which is what will then set the course of if something is possible or not. How dare you not have the call to arms already? This will be really helpful right about now. And how dare you ever say such a thing about call to arms, but... Now you have call to arms. Why didn't you get that earlier? You should have not put your other items on, for goodness sakes. Here we go, round 99. We can do +1 damage with that. And again, not a single pop, which is lovely. And we will be casting our call to arms. Now, let's cast both of them simultaneously. Oh, perhaps should have done that when... when the bad was over here. Oh my god, look at that. Absolutely brilliant. We didn't even need our glue gunner, and we have every single damage accumulated by the Sentry Champion here. No other tower got any other damage on the field. Geraldo, 0. Engineer, 0. Engineer Monkey, Ultra Boost 0. Hey, we done this with ×10, which is lovely. Which was part of a challenge. I wanted to go with Ultra Boost rather than Homeland Defense. But we got ourselves call to arms here. We got our Sentry Champion here with deconstruction, obviously. But we didn't manage to put down our glue gunner because it wasn't necessary. Thank you all so much for watching. I know we could have put down creepy idols in order to deflect some of these rounds. So yeah, round 94 was our kick in the teeth there with ceramics. So round 94 depended on luck if you're going with the Ultra Boost route. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see me do in the future. Give this a try for yourself, by the way. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care of yourselves, everybody.